Hey everyone, excited utterance here. My name's Hella, and guess what? I have a guest today, and I haven't told you who it is. I've been a little bit mysterious. Hi everyone. So first, before I introduce you to my guest, I'll say a bit of hello to everybody. Thank you for being a little bit patient. Susan Stevenson was first. Hey Susan. And Rachel D. Hi. Rose Adams. Nice to see you again. And my wife, my lovely wife, how are you? Yes, free Rick Allen, free Karen Reid, free Zachariah Anderson, free all the people. Well, not everyone, just the innocent ones. Yeah. People think I just think everyone's innocent. No, I don't. Just the innocent ones. Chelsea's here. Hi, Candy, TM. Don't forget the TM. Ellen is here. Hi. Sleuthie, my love. Good to see you. Nice to have you here, mate. Can't wait for the first live RA interview. Just says you'll. Did anyone think I might have reality? Now that would be nice. One day. Keith, hey, what a day. I don't really know what happened today. I've only been up for an hour or so. And I'm not following the Karen Reid trial, really. Just a little bit. Just a little. I mean, I hope she's not found guilty, but I'm not really following it. Christine DC, Rachel D. Hey, Justin Smith, how are you? Yay, not a Karen Reid stream. You can always count on me to not have a Karen Reid stream on. I'm one of the few streamers who's not got a Karen Reid stream on. So just come over to my channel and be sure to not have a Karen Reid stream over here. Hey, Tatiana S. Who else we got? Low light recovery. Good to see you. Got a little burn gardening myself. Oh, that's no good. PPM. Hey. Mavka, you going to be good today? Not putting your chats up if you're not going to be good. Rose Adams, thank you so much for the donation. Only question I have for you is how the hell are you, Hella? And F you, Indiana, AG Todd Rokita, thanks for triggering me. You, Ellie, Lily, sell it. I have no idea what the hell you're on about, but thank you. Yeah, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate all donations, and that's one out of our goal of 5. Thank you. Grace Grace is here, not Laurie Vallow either today. Yes. Hey Finn, I'm doing a pizza. We'll watch the replay. Oh, okay. You're gonna miss out. In a minute, you're gonna find out who our guest is. Kaleidohope is here. Hello. Oh, hello, Darlie. Free Laurie. What? Half Irish, my favorite. How are you? Sorry, I'm not supposed to have favorites, but I kind of do. Rachel D, I think I said hello to you already. Tracy, hi. Patty B, is a mystery guest a mystery? Yes. Until the mystery guest is no longer a mystery. In just a minute. In just a minute. Street to Bakersfield is here. Hello. Alaska is Angel Uncle. Is that you, Steve? Do you have another cat? Jenny Cruz. John, hey. Lily, hey. Bunny Murphy, welcome to the Helliverse, Bunny Murphy. Hello, Fonjin, Jamie, 2 ears, 1 mouse. Oh, just forgot everybody. Cleveland Rocks. Eli Lilly, the pharmaceutical company. Now I know who that is. Yeah, you're right. Cat, hey, cool. All right, now I'm ready. I think I got everyone, kind of, maybe. All right, so if you haven't guessed who our guest is, it's someone you kind of all know, maybe. You might not know this person from being on streams because he is not usually on stream, but he is somebody who has contributed a lot to the Free Rick Allen cause, puts a lot of time and effort into helping us all get information. And I'll let him talk for himself, but I feel he's been very helpful to all of us and given much of his own time and dedication to it, and probably deserves a little bit more credit than he gets. But we all do this. We all do this out of the goodness of our hearts, don't we? So I'm going to welcome him onto the screen now. Hi, Luke.
Hey, hello.
How are you?
That was a very,
Good.
very generous introduction.
Credit where credit is due.
No credit is ever expected. The best thing will be when Rick Allen is free, right?
Yes.
We can all go get a Taco Bell with him.
Yes, exactly. So, Luke, unfortunately, you're not here today for fun reasons, really.
No, it's weird. It's good to, I mean, I haven't spoken to you before, but like, I imagine that your studio, if that's what you want to call it, must smell really good. That's the thing I always think when I watch you. It looks like you have white company candles and like nice things in there.
Well, I would like to think so, but I've also got cats. So, yeah.
You can spray them and make them smell nice, right?
I do, yeah. My cats are okay, but yeah, I mean, it's nice here. I do design, and I have clients come in and stuff like that, so it's a nice place. But yeah, I mean, I don't get to see them and stuff until about lunchtime. So I block out most of my appointments till lunchtime whilst I'm doing this. And a lot of my work I do online. So I teach graphic design online with people all over the world from about lunchtime onwards. So a lot of my practice these days is not so much client work, but teaching work. So
I have clients, but I avoid them like as much as I can.
Same.
They're in different time zones to me, so it's like I'm always up late. Yeah.
That too. So yeah, it's lovely to meet you finally, Luke.
Yes, likewise.
Before we get into what you've decided to actually come on stream today, do you want to just give us a little bit of background as to how you got involved in this whole case?
This is the difficult question to answer. I never know what to say because I don't know how I got here. I think most people would basically say the same thing. So like I used to be I don't want to say like it's a dirty word, but a web sleuth. I was super interested, and I still am interested in missing persons cases and super morbid but unidentified deceased people. Like that was where I would spend my time, like researching and trying to figure things out. And I remember this case from when it was still a missing persons case, which wasn't for long. Like it was, as we all know now, it was like a day, but it popped up on the internet back in 2017, and I was like, "This is interesting." Paid attention to it. It wasn't the only case I paid attention to, and then, like most people, got just completely sucked into this. Not a vortex. That's too rational a movement to describe this. It's like it's a force field, right? But then came Rick Allen, and that was when I really got kind of concerned. When the PCA, the probable cause affidavit, was sealed, that was unusual. That's when I really started paying attention, and then from there it was a tipping point.
Okay, so and when did you start to get more involved? So actually interacting with people and gathering documents and that sort of thing.
I was thinking about this earlier, and like my brain wanted to say 2 years, but it couldn't be 2 years. It must be like a year and a half, maybe 18 months or a year. It feels a lot longer than that. It feels like a lifetime because it's like a huge case. It's the perfect case if you want in some ways. It's also like the most imperfect case you can imagine. When I started getting involved, so I used to kind of blog and tweet about it before I knew any of the gang, and I think it must have been, what was it? So like end of 2023. That's when I started talking to like the people who are like associated with this case in an online sense. The point where I became like involved, if you like, was when Judge Gold denied Rick public funding for the experts, and that was just like, that was completely unacceptable. This was around the time when Karen Reed was fundraising for her first trial, and she'd done really well. Like she'd raised over $1 million, I think, in a fairly short amount of time. So the conversation was, how do we do this? How do we take this idea of online fundraising and like get some money together for these experts? So I started speaking to Cara Weinecke and others about that, and I was able to help out, advise in different ways. It was complex because nobody had ever raised money online for experts specifically. So Karen Reed had raised money for representation, but that was general representation, which is quite a few people have done that. Nobody's actually been in the position where they were denied public funding for experts to the point that they had to fundraise. So it was a whole new like thing legally. Technically, it wasn't particularly complex, but legally it was. We run into some. How can I put it? We run into some headwinds on that, and that's when I started to notice this pattern, which is pervasive, and it still goes on every damn day. Which is that there are people out there who will take they pay very close attention to everything, and they will take any opportunity to cause difficulties. And that fundraiser was the first time I noticed that personally, which was that some people had managed to figure out that, legally speaking, Squarespace, I think it was, no, not Squarespace, Stripe, the payment processor that we had been using for donations, somebody had figured out that this had gone against their terms and conditions.
Right.
And were able to like effectively pull the rug on it because Stripe didn't want to take on this liability, etc., etc. So from then it became like this ping pong back and forth, and I mean up until now that pattern, that dynamic hasn't gone away. It's lawfare. That's a very I mean, some people think that's a controversial term. I think like this, there's genuine lawfare, there is harassment, and there is just complete lack of I don't know, respect, on a human level.
Okay, so some people found out that it was against Stripe's terms and conditions or terms of service to get involved in helping out a defendant?
No,
for lack of a better term. No.
If we'd raised, like Karen Reed did, if we'd raised money via Stripe for general representation, general counsel, that would have been fine.
Sure.
So I used to be a contract lawyer, right? So like I know how these things go. I used to write the kinds of terms and conditions that we were basically up against. So they will only allow you to do things that are on their list.
Yes.
So it's an inclusive approach. It's not like they will say you can't do X, Y, and Z. They will say you can only do A, B, and C.
You can do these ones, right? It didn't include that.
Yeah. And so that's so nitpicky because raising funds for experts should really theoretically come under the concept of raising money for lawyers, right?
Yes.
So if you could do that, why couldn't we do this? We just didn't think about it because it was like, why would we? But somebody, and I have an idea who, somebody had gone through that contract, that terms and conditions document with Stripe, found out, okay, it's not there on their list, and got in touch with Stripe, wrote to them and said, what you're doing, what you're allowing is not covered by your terms and conditions. Stripe came to us and said, we're going to have to stop this, guys. We'd only got to $40,000. I think we could have gone a lot further than that, judging by the momentum at the time.
Okay, so you got to the $40,000. That was able to be obviously used, because I remember the 40,000.
Some of it was used.
Figure, right? But it had to be stopped at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I got you. So do go on. What happened next?
Oh my God! I mean, that's. I don't really like. I mean, what happened next was the trial. The pre-trial. The pre-trial happened, and then the trial happened.
For you,
I mean, do you want me to be more specific?
Yeah, I mean, for you, for your experience with helping in, you called it the gang, I suppose, but I mean, helping with the other people who were trying to coordinate some sort of effort to assist defense counsel, I guess, and what kind of hurdles did you come up against? I'm sort of trying to lead us to a point to where we are now.
I mean, personally, I didn't do much in the period between the end of that fundraiser and the start of the trial. The only thing I did was just tweet and blog. There wasn't a great deal of work for anyone else to do except for the lawyers, and we were all kind of locked in and observing that. The trial was a busy period. I personally felt that it was important to allow myself time to actually write in that period, to tweet, to blog, to keep track of what was going on, because I knew we were already operating in an environment which was hostile to information. It was very opaque, untransparent environment. So mostly through the trial, I was tweeting, blogging,
right.
Just being a crank, basically.
Being a crank.
Towards, towards the maybe 2/3 of the way through, that's when I started setting the groundwork for this website, which has become, I guess, a focal point.
So let's talk about that. So this website, rickalaninnocence.com.
rickallanjustice.com.
Sorry, rickallanjustice.com. Get it right. So this has been a point of contention. So let's just clear this up right now. Who owns the domain for rickallanjustice.com?
I mean, it's a good question. I'm not sure. I have control over it, but in terms of ownership, I don't know. Because what happened when we first decided to register that domain. So I floated the idea to a lawyer, and got the okay for it. And it was a good idea. It was 2/3 of the way through the trial. There was for a lot of the trial, it did feel that there was a chance Rick wouldn't be convicted. And that was the hope, certainly. So not a lot of thought was put into what kind of communication would we need to do to organize effectively if he was convicted, right? We didn't want to think about that. And so I took on this morbid task with one of the lawyers associated with Rick, of registering this, coming up with a communications plan for just in case he's convicted. And it had to be done very secretly, and but writing that content was just a grim task, and I hoped, frankly, no one would ever know about it, that it would go in the bin a week later, that he'd be acquitted, but it wasn't the case. But I personally knew that the day or the minute a verdict came in, if it was guilty, there would be no time for anybody to sit down and put together a communications plan, and I also knew that the entire world effectively would be watching this moment. So it was a perfect time to capture that interest in the form of like, just put your email address into this.
Yes.
And we will then hand over this website to whoever wants to take control of Alan's communications later. And it was a good thing to do, and on that day, on the day of the verdict, Andrea Burkhart plugged the website in a stream, and there were like 10,000 people watching that.
Yes.
It was all eyes on Delphi, basically. So we captured a lot of email addresses, and that's the way you do these things. That's it.
Okay, so captured a lot of email addresses. The website's up, and okay, what's happened since? You tell me. There's been a video put up, and there's been a lot of consternation over where the video come from, and fingers pointed, and then nothing else came out after that. There was no other exhibits.
I know. It was really frustrating, actually.
Yeah. We had a discussion here on this channel last week, and Ange was here and Sloopy was here. You were in chat, and there was a discussion about how you guys all were in a agreement with the defense attorneys about putting up the exhibits onto that website. Am I correct?
Yeah,
so
that was the idea.
Okay, so would you like to explain that from your point of view? Just rehash that for anyone who hadn't heard that, and add anything that you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll try to be delicate about it, but
sure, whatever you like.
That was the idea. So the website was already there. It wasn't my website, and it isn't my website. I know that's what some people think. It's just a website that is for the purpose of communicating about Rick, right? So that was an obvious place to publish this evidence. We got signal from Andrew Baldwin's office that he was ready, he wanted to actually do this, and it was in a window of time when the legal representation was changing from trial attorneys to appellate attorneys. And so Andy wanted to go for it. The website was the obvious place to put it. It was set up it had already proven itself resilient in terms of being able to take huge amounts of traffic, being able to withstand hacking attempts, and all of that. So yeah, and the first shot was the video, the British Guy video.
Yep.
The idea would be that in the following days, other things would come out, and the rest of the story is that they panicked. The lawyers panicked. They saw some of the overwhelming reception from the world of seeing that video was hugely positive, right?
Okay.
Wherever people are in the case, whether they are innocent or guilty, the vast majority of people, and we're talking hundreds of thousands, in the first few days, it was covered by mainstream media. It was on CNN. It was in people.com, etc. Most people were like, "Oh, great! We now have this evidence out."
Yes.
But a small group of people in our community, which is definitely not a community, took it upon themselves to cause some trouble around it very quickly within the first 48 hours, and I think that caused the lawyers to panic. They were like, "Oh no, there's controversy." And it only takes a few people to do it. It only takes a few people to write to a newspaper or to to write to a lawyer and to say, "Oh, are you sure you should be doing this?" for them to step back.
I'll let Keith ask this question. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. Look, can we expect an About Us page on the site that includes a picture, small bio? I don't know.
He means about me, Hella. He means about me.
Oh, of course, about you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Keith. I'll I'll send it to you
Social
private.
security numbers. Asking for a friend. Yeah, Luke, answer the question.
Yeah. I mean, I
Well,
should
of
have put my
course.
my playlist on there, or whatever, like my amateur poetry and tricky.
Well, I mean, the thing is though, Luke, and Keith, sorry, I guess to be, if there had have been something up there that had have said this website is an official website that is founded by the defense team of Rick Allen and endorsed by his family, what do you think?
Well, there was a
Would that have
message there that
helped?
said that, I think for like 6 hours or something, there was no
Nothing.
messaging, but there was messaging on Twitter by people like Kara Weineke,
Yep.
people who are like formally associated with Rick Allen, right? So it was confirmed to be official. Then after a few hours, we put some text on the page saying this has been released by the defense attorneys.
Yes.
And people weren't asking questions up until that point. So people were only asking stupid questions after the text was already there, saying that it was released by the defense attorneys. I think there's some kind of cognitive difficulty or cognitive issue there, where people just do not want to accept what they see. And I
agree.
And I've reflected on that. I reflected on that in those first few days, and because like we felt we were doing like a good deed, This was for transparency. This is for justice. It's
of course.
We weren't. None of us. We weren't making money from it. We weren't getting a kick out of it. Certainly not. Like it was not an easy thing to do, but we were doing it for a good cause. And to get people who we previously felt were kind of justice warriors, to hear from those people the kinds of things that they were saying was really surprising. And I had to ask why would they do that? And I think part of it was like a genuine shock from having seen it. This was a piece of evidence that everybody knew existed for 7 years. Nobody had seen, apart from a handful of people. And to actually see it with your own eyes, even I had this experience myself when I first saw it. It's like there is kind of a shock to it, and you don't necessarily want to believe it. And I think some people went too far down that path.
There was some pretty nasty things said at the time, and I mean I got a bit annoyed about it.
I know.
Just like, everything doesn't have to be fake. Everything doesn't have to be fake. And I also, like, now I know that you guys had this agreement for everything else to be released in the next few days. It makes more sense, because if everything had come out over the next few days, then it would have, there wouldn't have continued to be this, oh, that's not real thing, because everything else would have happened, and it would have been clear that of course that's real, because there's all this other stuff coming. Like it would have taken the attention away from that one video, because all this other stuff would have started to appear, and it would have been like, oh right, well the rest of the exhibits are all here, of course that's just part of it.
There was also meant to be a statement. That was really the most frustrating thing, because if nothing else had been released, but somebody had made a statement, somebody official, then it would have still been fine. It would have been like, okay, well, that's just the video, but at least it's formal. If we'd released everything plus had a statement from one of those lawyers, and it's obvious who I'm talking about. There's only 3 of them. There wouldn't have been any fuss. It would have been. It would have just been something for people to look at and pick apart as a piece of evidence.
Do you think that, I recall when the defense attorneys went on Defense Diary straight after the gag order was up, and they were talking about how when they were investigating the case, when they were trying the case, they never really looked on social media much, right? Like they blocked it out and they didn't really understand it, and they kind of went like that, right? So then when the video came out and they saw the reaction to it, they weren't prepared for this community and the way they speak, and they're not used to getting reactions, right? So do you feel like, I mean, that's what when I hear you say that they got spooked, I suppose, like when you're used to being on social media, when you're used to putting stuff out there, you realize that when there's an overwhelming good reaction to something and there's a small minority who are just like throwing tomatoes, then that's no big deal. You keep going. Yeah. Right. But when you're not used to it, when social media is just not a thing for you, you get freaked out by it. Like that's a reaction. Yeah. So I just wonder.
Yeah, I think there's something in that, and this is an Indiana specific thing. It's like maybe it's a cultural thing. I don't know, but what I've heard is, or what I understand is that even throughout the trial and pre-trial, the lawyers were kind of like were very reluctant to even listen to what was on social media, almost not from a point of view where they say there's nothing to listen to. It's almost like they didn't believe it existed. Like
they didn't know how to use it even. Yeah. Like they were like boomers basically. Like it's just
except for Angela wants me to say tomatoes, so she knows. I will tell her. I will tell. Anyway,
you want to say tomatoes, whatever. People in court, hold the F up. There's nothing else going to be released. All right. So people in court, I'm not sure if you've been following what's been happening just recently. So basically what's going on is the defense attorneys were going to release everything themselves, right? They're not releasing anything more that we know of, right? Unless they change their minds. But what's been happening is the court, as in Judge Gull, has been releasing certain lists of exhibits that have been requested via FOIA to certain people, and so far it's only been some media who've made requests on USB drive, in the mail, and in pieces, right? So not one big chunk, not everything, but exhibits A through 200 and something, and piecemeal, right? And we have to hope that those people have some integrity and share them with the rest of us. So we're kind of like jigsaw piecing them all together at the moment. So yeah, we're getting some, but not all. We were hoping.
And what we do get is not. I mean, okay, like Susan Hendricks yesterday put out this stupid video, and in her video she showed the exhibits. That's not the same as releasing the exhibits. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
Unless you get high resolution files that are basically original to what was shown in court, then it's not the same as public release.
Yeah, I was going to go live today with those exhibits and I can't because I don't have them. There's some screenshots of them, which thank you All Eyes, by the way, for getting the screenshots. But I want the exhibits. Susan, where are they, Susan?
And why, Susan, are you getting them when Susan Hendricks is one of the few people who's making money off of this case, right? So this is another thing that we've all been accused of being grifters. Oh, I'm sorry, but like we've all put money in different forms, different amounts into this thing, into this cause, and happily, like no regrets at all. Susan Hendricks is making money off of her book. So why? So you've got two kind of injustices there. The biggest one is that the public's right to those exhibits is being undermined by selective distribution to chosen journalists. And the second is that you have these chosen journalists making money off the deaths of 2 children. Like, how is that okay? It's not.
Yep. Yep. There's no reason why she can't share them. She should share them. It's the right thing to do. Right?
Yeah.
Susan, could you please share them? Thank you.
Susan,
Like,
you got to unblock me, girl. Like,
well, I'm not blocked yet. Yeah. Okay. So, Luke, let's talk about trolling for a moment. So, I mean, trolling is one of those words that kind of gets used and thrown around. People go, "Oh, so and so's trolling," and I mean, in my chat, for example, I tend to not like the word trolling because, yeah, Mac is just a resident, you know. He says stuff just to annoy people, but really he's lovely. He's my mate. But yeah, there are some people who just say things to annoy people, and then there are people who just have a different opinion to you.
Yep.
And then they'll come in and have a different opinion to you, and others will say, "Oh, get rid of that troll." And they'll be like, "No, that person's just disagreeing with you. They're not trolling. They're not saying calling you names. They're not being rude. They just have a different opinion." And so in my space, in our Discord, Darling West Discord, and our chats, we're like, we don't block those people or time them out if they're nice. Fine, right?
Yeah.
But trolling gets to a different level when they start to actually attack you personally, and then go a bit further, and then come into your space, like find out your name.
Yeah.
Try and find out about your personal life, like your children, where you live, things like that, right? And I spoke a little bit on Angie's stream about how I've seen this happen in other cases, and I know it's happening in this case as well. I'm worried because I believe, is it happening with you, Luke?
Oh yeah, it's happened many times. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, but that's something in the past for me. If you spoke to just about anybody who's active in like the pro due process side, you will hear that almost every one of us have had death threats, doxing, all kinds of things going back, years. It's you end up becoming numb to it, which is terrible, really.
Yeah.
But in terms of affecting my actual life, it's fine. I'm not worried about that.
So you're okay.
Yeah, I've been through it before. I don't know if there was a creator. I mean, I don't think he was a real creator. I think he was just a chaos agent last year called CJ, who like he when he went off the rails, he basically said Luke's been beating up his kids, right? I've got 3 daughters. One's 3, one's 17, one's 19, and he said he went on a live stream. I remember on a Saturday night and said, "Oh, Luke, blah 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 blah. Well, I've got my 5-year-old cousin here, and I'm going to put makeup on her and tell the world you beat her up." Like it's that kind of like crazy stuff. But it's water off a duck's back. It's once you've been through that a few times, it's like whatever. It is what it is.
Well, okay. Well, good for you for letting that slide off your back. Guys,
you got to, otherwise you can choose. Like I'm in this because I believe in the cause. I believe with every piece of my fiber, every fiber of my body, that Rick Cullen is innocent.
same.
And I also believe in the rule of law. I studied law. I love the law, or the theory of law. I think is an abomination what they've done. So, like, I'm going to keep doing this. I don't care who it pisses off, and I know there are risks, and you know, some people already lost their lives. Some people have come close, and some people have, you know, deleted themselves, if you want to put it that way. Unfortunately, you know, I understand the risks, but I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going to assume I know what you're talking about, Indy Cindy. Went over the contract and spent 3 hours pointing out others' comments. For what purpose? Are we talking about the contract from Cara and Michael, the proposed pro bono contract? I expect that's what you mean. Maybe we'll move on from that.
It must be that. I mean, I certainly didn't spend 3 hours going over it because it only takes 5 minutes to read.
It's not that long of a contract. If you talk about Delphi, you're going to get attacked. Well, that shouldn't be, right? I mean, okay, let's just be really clear about this for a minute. What bothers me about this is that I expect to be attacked from people who think that Rick Allen is guilty.
Yep.
I don't love the fact that I'm getting attacked by people who think Rick Allen is innocent.
They claim to think that. I get you, and this is why I was pissed off today. Like, I was tempted to just switch my camera on and go live on my own channel and just read a Wikipedia page out loud about about concern trolls, because that's what's been happening.
Tell us what you think. Go on.
Well,
what would you have said?
So this is the thing. Like, all of the gang. I mean, whatever you want to call it, we're all used to dealing with people who have been saying Rick Allen's guilty. You expect that as part and parcel of it, right? But now you've got these, what I'm calling concern trolls, who actually cause a lot of trouble. Like, they probably cause more trouble for the process of campaigning than the people who were guilters, you know, because what they will do, you know, if you don't mind, I'm going to read this. It's going to take 2 seconds.
Oh. Yeah, so in fact, do you want to share it to screen or not?
No, it's not worth it, I don't think.
Okay, sure, let's read.
So this is the Wikipedia page it's for astroturfing, and the sub category is concern troll. It says, concern trolls pretend to be sympathetic to a certain point of view which they're actually critical of. A concern troll will often declare an interest in joining or allying with a certain cause while subtly ridiculing it. The concern troll posts in web forums devoted to their declared point of view and attempts to sway the group's actions or opinions while claiming to share their goals, but with professed concerns. The goal is to sow fear, uncertainty, and doubt within the group, sometimes by appealing to outrage culture. So the point being that you'll have somebody will say, I believe Rick Allen is not guilty. And then they will use that like as a moral basis for which to say everybody else who believes Rick Allen is not guilty is doing things the wrong way. Right? Yeah. And then and that's fine. Like, you know, people talk shit. Who you might ask, who cares? Like, people are going to say stupid things, and that's true. We shouldn't necessarily listen to all of them, but some of them say it enough times in enough different places to actually start making people concerned. You know, like that's what happened when we released the video. It was those kinds of, it was people on our own side. You know, the guilters didn't give a damn that the video was out. The state of Indiana didn't give a damn that the video was out. Nick McClellan didn't complain. The people complaining were people who claimed to be like on the side of innocence. And because
interesting,
like you have to ask yourself, do they really believe what they say they believe, or are they here to cause trouble?
Hey, it's Amy, isn't it? Sorry, we haven't met. It's disheartening that we're all being attacked when we are seeking justice for the girls in Rig. Are you being attacked too, Amy?
Amy has come just last weekend. She got shit from somebody on YouTube. It was horrific. Somebody spent 4 hours, live streaming a chat from Amy's own video the day prior, and it's just completely inappropriate. Yeah, exactly. As she's saying in chat, she was called the C word, and frankly, all the women, the high-profile women in this this community have been treated extremely poorly.
I'm sure I'm next. That's fine.
So if somebody's coming into a group and saying, "Oh, I'm one of you," and okay, we accept them as one of us, and then they keep saying subtle things like, "Oh, I don't think this is right, and I don't think this is right, and I don't think this is right," and they don't come to you. They don't come to you privately and say, give your feedback in private, which is fine. They do it in that kind of pernicious way where it spreads and it takes hold, and then people start believing it.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that happened to you, Amy, and I think I know what we're all talking about now. It's making sense. Okay, I'm going to send some links out if anyone wants to join panel. Amy, you're welcome if you want to.
I'm just going to get some water. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Yeah, go for your life. Go for your life. I don't do this very often, just chuck it into chat, but I know there's a few people here. So, yeah, if you want to join the discussion with Luke, you have things to add, come along. Luke's being very nice. Yeah. Helen never does that. Good luck.
Yeah. Sleuthy, can you highlight Sleuthy's comment where she asks me if there's anything I want to say? I'll tell you what I want to say.
Up here.
Rick Allen is in solitary confinement. Likely, I mean, in my opinion, he was wrongly convicted, but, there's room for doubt even if you think he's guilty. He doesn't give can I swear?
Yeah.
Can I swear? Yeah, I know you're an Aussie and I know Aussies don't give a shit, but
no, it's not so much that, but
who's
channel,
running his website. Rick Allen does not care who is running his website. He wants out. He wants freedom, like any of us would. It doesn't matter who bought the domain name and who's doing this and who's doing that and blah, 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 and all of this crap. I know people think it's funny or maybe it's their hobby, or maybe they're being paid to do it. I don't know. But those people who ask those questions again and again and again and again and again are causing harm. That's what I want to say.
Thank you.
Who's coming?
I would. Yeah, who's coming up? Come on. Yay! Hello, Amy. Nice to meet you. Let's see if we've got your sound working. Can I swear? Lol. Candy says, I'm so disappointed in some channels that I was regularly watching. I can't believe it. Yeah. Amy, can we hear you? Not yet. Is it really her? She's gone. It's the ghost of me.
Somebody who's a mod can check if it's her.
Actually,
it probably is.
Point. Coming back in. She's coming back in. needs a pin screen. Guys, oh, here she is. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi,
How are
Amy.
you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Nice to meet you, love.
Nice to meet you guys. I wasn't planning on getting on here tonight, but I seen you were on and I was like, well, let's see what they're talking about.
Stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
always stuff in Delphi.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. This last weekend, I've been busy. I was on vacation last week, so I got to go live quite a bit, but since Friday on, I've been busy with getting my daughter moved and Easter. So then I went back to work on Tuesday, and I'll be back live tomorrow. But
Okay.
I'm sure some people are thinking they got the best of us, but that's not the case at all.
No.
I don't plan on getting into a YouTube war with anybody. It's not worth it. They're really irrelevant. But I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, that's
It
the
was kind of
annoying part. This is
surprising
all
that Prof came after you
distracting,
like that.
really. The word was
Sorry.
said. No, it's fine. It's
Oh,
fine.
the word was said.
No, as is the name. No,
I said something off. I don't know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
no. Like as in post office.
Yeah, post office. Yeah, exactly. No, Amy, I was saying I was actually shocked. Like I've already had issues with that same person for the last few weeks or month or whatever, but I was surprised he came after you in that way.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to shy away from it. I'm going to keep it respectful, but you know, Erica and Christine have both been on my lives before, and I've never, I know that there's a lot of controversy around them, and I've just, tried to give everybody an equal opportunity to come on and speak. I gave Erica that opportunity. I have nothing against her. And it wasn't until I seen her post in the support Rick and Kathy Allen Facebook group where there were a lot of allegations made. So I was like, well, let's read the contract. We read the contract. We didn't fault anyone. We just read it word for word, verbatim, and broke it down. And never once was another YouTube creator mentioned out of our mouths on my live. Now the interesting thing about the chat is they were talking a lot of crap. And these are the same people who subscribe to that creator's channel. And then he wants to do a 4-hour live and scroll through my chat and literally berate his own subscribers and call them names. And, I'm just thinking, and then saying that there was a pressure campaign against Kathy Allen. No, technically what should have happened is whatever offer pro bono, good or bad, that was made. If Kathy has representation, that lawyer should have responded, "We already have this covered. Thanks, but no thanks." Why did it get passed on to a private investigator and a YouTube creator to be posted?
Yeah, and particularly that private investigator who has a history, an uncomfortable history with the trial team. Why her? And then to accuse like other people of putting a pressure campaign on, it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black. Like it's just complete nonsense.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have no direct contact to Kathy Allen to put any kind of pressure on her. We read the contract. The contract, has been discussed. It had been being discussed for over a week and a half. And I figured it was going to be a little bit controversial when we read it. But at the end of the day, the worst thing about this whole thing for me is that when you spend hours upon hours, and I think as creators, we all do, researching and trying, we spend hours in the evening with all of our subscribers discussing, putting out good content for the purpose that at the end of the day, this is really volunteer work, because if people think that anybody's paying bills off of, 5, 6, 8 hours a week on a live. They're sadly mistaken. But
And the work that goes in like to prepare. Don't forget that, Amy.
right.
Like,
I have a whole other career outside of this. But
yeah, we don't
the
just
most
press the live button and it happens. Like,
no, it doesn't happen that way. And
no.
I'm looking at people who are close to Kathy Allen, who are literally in that creator's chat, co-signing and cheering him on. And I'm going, does Kathy Allen really know that you're out here representing her this way against people who have donated money to her husband's defense fund? Like, come on, this can't be real life.
Well, I mean, I've seen some comments that are really quite rude. Like, how could you be so disrespectful, assuming that she can't make a decision for herself or something like that. I'm not quoting it verbatim, but just really quite nasty when people are just wanting to be like sure that he doesn't miss out on the chance to sue the state
Yeah,
if he
exactly.
but
That's what it was last.
really want to help. Why be
Pressure,
rude?
from my understanding, is the pressure was like there was nobody's going to bully Kathy from, Michael Osbrook and Carl Weineke are not bullies. Like Carl Weineke is, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, she's like a princess among thieves, frankly. And Michael, yes, he can be grating because he's blunt, but he is perfectly polite, and I don't see any of them, banging on Kathy's door with a contract. So, but the pressure came from the time. The time was running out to file the civil suit, and that expired on Friday. And I think maybe somebody's using that on purpose and misconstruing that deadline and saying that presenting that deadline was some kind of pressure campaign when it was not.
Hey, Kat.
Hello.
Hey, love.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. Hi, Hella. Hi, Luke. Hi, Amy.
Hey.
Hey.
Fuck, like, I just can we get in the solution already? Like, instead of all this nonsense.
Let's fix this shit.
People got a problem with getting paid or whatever the issue is. Like, can we say it out loud, and actually constructively go and do that instead of just saying loud things that don't really have any purpose or meaning or
Agreed.
anything. It's just it's insane to me. And you're right, the guilt tripping with the Kathy Allen. It's it's during the trial, the families, you can't talk bad, and it's nobody doesn't not trust Kathy Allen. We don't trust the people around her because no one's talked to her.
Yep.
Why is
100%.
somebody that now has a huge conflict being the spokesperson and saying information that doesn't even make legal sense or anything else? I mean,
yes,
I'm glad she has a friend, I'm glad that I guess I'm glad about that, but at the same time, one can't represent two people sort of at the same time, when you're dealing with such distinct issues as this, being in prison, and then I don't know what else there is, but whatever Kathy might be dealing with. And so to think that you can equally work for the both of them at the same time is a conflict, because you have to not be thinking about making the other person, helping them in order to help the other person. And I think by helping Rick, that's going to in effect help Kathy. And I think that's sort of being completely ignored. And then we have the other conflict of the arrest. And then and then the conflict on top of that was Auger representing her up until March 6th. So things are very conflicted, and no one is seeing that people, have biases. Gull doesn't want to think that exists, but that exists. Even when you're trying to do the best thing for people. Sorry, I just had a rant for a second.
No, that's all right. What you said when you came in, you're absolutely right. We need to get past this shit and just find out a way to do something together. right? And I don't want to be all kumbaya, but it's got to that point where it's like there is so much negative bullshit going on. There's so much just pointing the finger and getting out people's lives and going through people's chats and
Well, I think the
like
lawyers are kind of like what's making this more difficult, because like during the trial we had the gag order and then like the protective order and that whole shit, and so they were trying to like, you know, abide by that. And then like after trial, like we heard a little bit from them, but like right now, you know, we hear after trial like, oh, we ignored the internet and all that stuff, and maybe we like should have been paying attention because there was like some good information out there, or just having like a media strategy in general, because like that's your potential jury pool that you're going to be arguing to in the future if there's another trial or ever. And then like if you're going to be arguing to appellate judges, like those people are going to be influenced to look at things because of public pressure. Like they might not be like, you know, people, but that's what helps. And so like ignoring, like helping Rick Allen by having A, public pressure, and like B, like talking to the jury pool, or at least like figuring out a way to like work together. Like the appellate counsel, like they just keep saying like no comment, and like that's not helping at all. Like the no comment to people, like no comment to Andy, like all right, that doesn't help. But then like are the trial counsel like completely out of the loop like right now? Like are they
I don't know
sitting
where they
back?
are.
Well,
like
Does anyone know where they are?
They're not involved anymore.
Well, I know
yeah,
they're not
and yet,
involved like from the legal and procedural standpoint. Like I get the whole like appellate attorneys, trial attorneys, post conviction. I got that. What I'm wondering is like, do they have like some other continuing ongoing interaction, or are they literally not talking to Rick Allen at all, or Kathy, or doing anything? You know what I mean?
Do you
Like,
guys, sorry, Kat, do you guys know Amy and Luke?
I don't know.
I don't know. I know that I believe from a legal standpoint, the appellate team, they're
just
boxed.
doing the record, yeah.
They're boxed in. They can't.
But the trial counsel are still holding on to all the discovery.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how in Carroll County that works. Simply because, you know, they were
Carroll
taken.
County is not the issue; it's the protective order. But I think it all goes back to the attorneys being scared because of like violating something, when they're not really violating anything.
No, well, in Carroll County, the rule is different. Like the second that he was found guilty, those attorneys were removed. So I don't know what
Right.
happens with the discovery, if it's returned back to the state and it stays, you know, because it's up to the judge and the state to preserve any of that evidence, like was, you know, the motion to preserve requested. So
If they
and,
give
you
the
know,
stuff in their hands back to the state, like it's gone.
exactly. I mean, oh no, there's no doubt about that.
I just
There's
like there's just. I wish they could just.
Well,
give us, like,
that's
a
the
region,
normal
or, like,
the normal
where-
process is it would. Sorry, go on, carry on.
You go.
The normal process is that whenever discovery material goes between two different sets of attorneys, it always would go back to the state first. But the two things that come to mind from that is the first one is that discovery rules would still apply, as in they might try to pull some tricks, but the trial lawyers know what was in discovery, so the appellate lawyers will be able to compare. Well, good question. The second is Carroll County Circuit Court is being abolished. I don't know exactly when, but this was in the news recently, in the last few days. So I think they're going to merge the Carroll County Court, which is like a weird, like not lower level, but it's like it's got its own set of rules. It's not streamlined into the normal judicial circuits. So that court is being abolished, which makes me concerned that maybe something strange is going on there.
The trial counsel, I mean, they filed their appearances a second time because of what you said. Like after the case is over, they get automatically removed. So like during the motion to correct error period, they like put themselves on the case, technically. So I mean, I know their discovery order, their protective order is kind of like once they're done with their representation, then they have to give it back. And so I think that there's I guess, leeway for them to hold on to it, like under that scenario, but there's still like no plan for doing anything outside of the discovery.
And if I can interject,
Please.
I believe that that was the ultimate goal and purpose of this offer being made, for pro bono, and the contract being signed and requesting access simply to get access to start an investigation. And I do not, the contract is not for legal representation as far as post conviction attorney. It was to begin the investigation. And if, I hope Michael doesn't mind me quoting him, but Michael said, I'm just willing to act as the co-pilot until the real pilot shows up.
Okay.
So it was for investigative purposes to get the ball rolling. So there's not one day of lapse time. And, you know, when you stop and you think about what the accusations that are flying around right now about taking control of everything and access to those funds, well, we know that most people do not have 100 to 200 grand to hand over to a law firm to pay for representation and to
Yes.
fund the resources that this case is going to need in either a retrial or in post-conviction relief with the investigation going forward. Therefore, whoever does step into those shoes is going to need access to those funds or any future fundraising that's going to come down the road. Plain and simple. So I don't have a dog in the fight as far as who represents Rick. I just personally know the time frame that he's looking at for all of this to go down the pipeline. And when you've got attorneys who are very, very familiar with the case, willing to kind of pick up the ball and keep it rolling, just in case, you know, to keep you from having that year and a half prolong in between a possible appellate denial to the start of a post-conviction. I thought that was a fantastic offer. Now, if she's had a better offer, great. If she's got better attorneys, great. However, that's not what's been put, that wasn't what was put out there. It was
Right. That's not in the contract. So like,
right.
I don't
So-
understand like where people are like going off of that. And then like, does she understand the contract? Does she know that she can, you know, like it's a draft, usually a contract, like you go back and forth, like if you don't like certain like language or whatnot, but like then she's getting told to send everything to the appellate attorneys. Like who is telling her that?
Who's lying, Ange? About what? What is it? Are you lying? Sorry, are you saying that who's lying about her getting a better offer? Is there a better offer?
Well, they keep saying like, don't worry, like it's taken care of, it's taken care of. And like the past 2 weeks, I'm like, yo, like the civil statute is running out, and like now it's gone, and now they're like, it takes 2 weeks. They already filed it, but it like needs to come through. And I'm like, who is doing this? Like, hold on till next week. Just wait till after trial. Just wait, like just like putting it off. Like it's just like the same crap over again.
Gotcha.
But they did. I think they did that. I think they did that so that the clock would run out on the civil
exactly. Who does it
suits,
help?
and
The
that's run out.
IDOC, not letting Rick see his attorneys. The IDOC, like who is getting help?
They
here?
shut down the prison. Last week, the whole week.
And people don't see that like that's a possibility with all the fuckery that we've seen in this case already.
It's nothing. It's easy for them to do that.
Right things.
Well, would anybody argue the fact that just based on my understanding, the attorney right now who's representing Kathy Allen was referred by Erica? Can anyone confirm that?
I heard that.
Okay, so
I don't know if it's true.
So where do you think that the private investigators have a better shot of a future job in this case, with a friendly attorney or
Someone
Osborne.
else.
Well, I don't know why they're
Oh,
meeting with
my-
other
oh.
attorneys when those aren't the ones that were supposed to pay them. Like from what I understand, that's an
Well,
agreement with their prior boss.
and not
And
only
so, like, I
that,
don't understand why it's being turned into something else.
well, and here's the other thing that I don't understand, and and I'm not for anybody working for free. No,
Right.
but I mean, you don't work for 2 years and not get paid and then act shocked. Like you had, the chance you could have walked into their office if there was some pre-oral or written agreement that the law firms, Andy and Brad would pay them. However, Andy and Brad were acting as public defenders in this case, and every request for outside resourcing had to go through the court.
Yeah.
And the court had to approve it getting paid. My understanding is there were no invoices.
There
offered.
weren't. They're not on a single legal document to the court.
So I don't
But the
know
other,
who's.
yeah, the other thing too with the thanking of the M shits on in that post, and then like you're saying with the lawyer, if that's true, I still found it very weird that like on October 4th, like Kathy Allen decided to respond to like the bogus marriage troll rumors that were going on to Murder Sheet. Like I was like, all right, like maybe she wants to clear that up like for herself, but like that's the only thing I've seen that lawyer do, which is weird. Like,
Okay. So, guys, I think we might be straying into territory that a lot of people in chat don't understand. So, guys, so even people in court, Erica is one of the investigators that worked on the Richard Allen case with the defense attorneys. There are two investigators, Christine and Erica. What we are referring to is potentially this, what Chelsea's got written down here. So apparently $50,000 that Erica says that she's out, or the both of them are out from
Right, after
that
saying she would work pro
investigation.
bono. How are you down 50 grand if you work in pro bono? That's shitty maths.
Apparently. Now, Erica says she's also Kathy Allen's best friend. And so she is talking to her with her now, and has some influence over whether or not Kathy Allen wanted to sign a contract from Michael Osbrook and Cara Weineke to represent Rick pro bono as post-conviction relief attorneys. And so this is the question, whether or not this person, Erica, has intentions that are not maybe tainted by this $50,000 of supposedly owed money. Have I said that correctly?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
yeah, you're good.
Cool, because there's a bit of background there. And there might be some people in chat who have not caught up.
The only thing I'd add is the charges are also another reason why she could have
The
a
animal
different
cruelty
intention.
charges. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, someone wanna?
Not me.
Not me. Yeah, not me. I'm not really up with that.
I don't know all the facts, but basically, I know like what she said and what's been like in the court paperwork, and they're like random, like bogus charges that like it kind of reminds me of like Mitch Westerman, like conversion, like where we're just like pulling anything. But I do know that she said on a live that Cicero was in her house like the day, like sometime during the trial. And so she got charged with these offenses, and it's been like, appearances continued. And Auger was representing her up until March 6th. And so now the case is still going on, but she finally just got a public defender. But so when you're getting squeezed by the state, like, you know what I mean? Like I can't imagine that someone hasn't like said something to her, like, because this is what they do. They charge people with ridiculous things and then say, if you keep your mouth shut for a year, we'll expunge this.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, okay, I don't know if there's anything that can be done about it in terms of she's friends with Kathy. We're not sure if we if she can be
Oh, it's a
trusted
done
in
deal.
terms of
It's a done deal. You want to know
Yeah.
why? If
Why?
if the civil suit had been filed by 5 p.m. Friday, or it would have been Thursday because the courts were closed on Friday, the state of Indiana would be on the hook for anywhere between $10 and $100 million in damages. They are no longer liable for that money. Something from the trial that connects to that is on the day which Dr. Martin, who was a doctor, apparently a doctor for Westville Prison, when he was testifying, there were suits in the courtroom from the Indiana District Attorney's Office. They are all over this. They know that's their liability. And now, because they missed this deadline on Friday, because they were screwing around with this other shit, Indiana is no longer on the hook for a hell of a lot of money. And for me, like, there has to be a logical connect there, or at least a possible connect.
Like someone saying, look, hold on, don't worry, they're doing it so that, like, the date passes. Like, it's just like with the trial stuff, like where it's like, hold on till next week, we're going to show you, hold on till next week, like it's going to happen. And it's just long enough to get over whatever the hump is. And in this case, the statute of limitations.
Yeah.
Why would you think that, Trial Junkie? What makes you think that?
I've heard that as well. And it's just, I guess Kathy Allen is trying to keep, which is, I guess she's just trying to keep everything under wraps. So nothing gets out, and I can respect that. However, the only reason this whole controversy came up is because of the allegations about this contract that were made, that let's just pretend that every single allegation that Erica made was true. It should not have been made public, and the contract should not have been passed on to a YouTube creator and, discussed, and all of these allegations flying for really no reason. I mean, if she wanted to keep things under wrap, like I said, if she has representation, the response to Kara and Michael should have been, thank you so much. We appreciate the offer, but we have got it covered. End of story.
Yeah, you're right. The timing is a bit fishy, right?
Communication is really bad.
Yeah, direct no, hey, we're not interested in the contract, like we're doing this, but like from the lawyer, or like, hey, we're not cool with this part of the language, like maybe we can change this up, or like we don't really understand what you mean by this. Like none of that happened.
Erica made a public statement. She's made a few public statements. And this is the thing, it's like, apparently she's making public statements on behalf of Kathy, right? So
and
she's the one.
This weekend, she said over the weekend that she was the one that did it because it was the weekend, and so the lawyer wasn't like working. And I'm like, okay, well, here we are. Like,
has there been any lawyer making any statements on behalf of Kathy though?
No.
Just the murder shits one.
No, I got a text that, okay, so my live was I believe it was on Thursday. Friday morning, I got a text from Erica stating that Kathy's attorney was going to be making a statement. Either that it was going to be public on his website, or it was going to go to Murder Sheet on Saturday, and that because of all of the damage that my live caused her, she would expect me to, in turn, do another live and go over the attorney's statement. Now,
you must do another live, Amy.
Yeah, well, I'm doing another live tomorrow night, and it's going to be the Delphi Vault series part 3. So, and there's been no statement that I've seen from an attorney. So,
I just love being told what my lives need to be about.
Thanks. Tell me, let me know what exactly. So, well, guys, I'm gonna hop off. I have to work in the morning, so I got to get ready for bed.
Thanks for being here, mate.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you for all you do.
Oh, thank you, guys. Have a good night. Hello, love your channel. Thank you.
Thank you.
See you, Luke. See you, Kat. Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Wow. Okay, so yeah, I don't get it. Like, there's supposed to be some lawyer who would have made the statements but it was the weekend. But where is this lawyer? Like, where is the person
Exactly.
who would otherwise be making statement?
The only
Um,
other thing is, remember that person that that Andy interviewed that was like involved with the civil rights, and she was trying to go visit Rick at Westville.
I can't keep up with every live. Sorry, no.
Okay, it was like a while ago, like just after trial. But she was flying in to like check on the complaints about what was going on and how Rick was being like housed and whatnot with the IDOC. And so I don't know what's happening with that, but the only other lawyer I know is just a regular like civil injury attorney. That's the one that issued that statement.
Right. Okay. All right. So here I am at this point where I know that like probably this live is going to be dissected. Other people's lives are being dissected. There are names being called and all sorts of nasty stuff going on, and it's just giving me the shits, guys. I'm just had enough of it. And like some days I'm just like, do I even want to do this? Do I want to talk about this case anymore? And I shouldn't feel that way. None of us should feel that way. There's attacks going on in chats, in comment sections, on Twitter, and like chatters, content creators, everybody who believes that Rick Allen is innocent or at least deserves a new trial shouldn't feel this way, right? We should
And we shouldn't be made to feel this way by people who claim that they think Rick is innocent.
Yeah, we should be ready to be attacked by people who think he's guilty, right? And we should have some unified approach to being able to speak to those people who think he's guilty. Yes. But people who think he is innocent or worthy of a new trial, because remember, there's going to be people who aren't quite convinced he's innocent, but do think he didn't get a fair trial.
Yeah.
Right? And we got to be willing to embrace those people too. Yeah, not everyone's going to be completely convinced he's innocent, and we can't hate on those people.
And there were people who there will be people who know nothing about this case, who will form different opinions. So of course we have to welcome all kinds of views. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So
and
here's
prove them
the
wrong,
thing.
of course. We'll prove them wrong.
Prove them wrong, or at least bring them on board and help and get them to help us to change other people's minds that at least he did not get a fair trial. He deserves a retrial, right? Because that's the goal at this point. I don't think there's any other hope at this point other than his appeal is successful, right? So how can we work together? Again, sorry to be all kumbaya, but how can we all work together to just fucking shut all this shit out? And
I don't think we can. I think the only thing we can do is keep telling the story of the errors in the trial, and whatever truths we know about the case more broadly. That's all we can do. I think in terms of procedure and goings on, it's done. It's done. They achieved what they wanted to achieve last week by taking the civil suit off the table. So that's done. I think a lot of these people will go away and be quiet and not be seen again. But what we can do is just tell the story. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, even now, like, we want to interact, we want to aid the attorneys, like whether it's like raising money or awareness or whatever it is. But if they're not willing to work with us, like, or publicly say anything, like, we're not going to trust me, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're done with that. So like having no direct like line of contact, there's really like nothing that we can do. And now the civil suit's done, like.
Okay.
So we tell the story. We just keep telling the story as much as we can.
Okay. All right. So regarding the Rick Allen website, rickallenjustice.com. So you have access to that.
Yeah.
Luke.
I do.
How can we work together to build that out and make it into a resource that people can go to and learn about what went wrong at that trial?
I don't know if you've seen it since, well, in the last, I guess, few days, but it was relaunched over the weekend. No fanfare, but there will be an email out to all subscribers in the next few days. It's got a lot more content, and it tells the story of the trial and the evidence that was used.
Let's look at it right now. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Let's look at it. Okay. All right. So right now, currently, if you go to rickallenjustice.com, that's what you get. Because yeah, what would be really sweet is if I'm in a chat with a bunch of people who don't know much about it, but they're all kind of like, yeah, well, he killed 2 girls. He's disgusting. He's a monster. And then you'd be like, well, no, he's innocent. And I'll be like, well, what proof is there that he's innocent? Well, go to this website to find out more.
And it's all there now. You'll see if you like the website that was there before was just a holding thing, really, that was put up very quickly. But if you scroll down a little bit, there's that button there which takes you to the main breakdown of the evidence. Then there's this kind of these options here. If you actually if you scroll up to the top and click that big button,
deep dive.
Yeah.
Which one? This one, deep
that
dive.
One. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then this is like the main launch point where you can go into the 9 pieces of evidence that were used. You can see the state's arguments, the defense arguments, and so on.
Sweet.
There's also an article on the Reed technique. There's an article on false confessions in academia. There's a piece on the judge's conduct, and there's something on the Frank's motion. There's a bunch of stuff.
I'm interested in this, how you can help. There are many ways you can support the Richard Allen Justice Campaign. Whether you're an individual, part of an organization, a student, or a professional, your actions can make a difference in overturning potential wrongful conviction and advocating for systemic reform. Okay, so spread awareness, highlight critical issues like the coerced confessions and lack of forensic evidence to spark discussion, talk to a friend, or post on social media. Use hashtags like Free Rick Allen and Richard Allen to amplify the message. For talking points to get the conversation started, click here. Okay, I'm interested in that. What are they? Talking points, how to speak up about the case. Whether you're talking to a friend, journalist, or just posting online, it's important to stay factual, respectful, and clear. This is great, Luke. Did you write this yourself?
Yeah.
Nice,
Luke,
well done.
this is badass.
You're
well
a
done,
badass, man.
sir. Come on.
Yeah.
Give
it up for Luke.
This is fucking
No. The spirit of Ricky did it.
The spirit of Ricky. Nice. Below are key points you can use to start or guide conversations about the Richard Allen case, wrongful convictions, and broader justice reform. Stay calm and compassionate, even when others are emotional.
I wrote that with my fingers crossed.
Yeah. Stick to facts. Don't overstate. The truth is compelling enough. Focus on process and evidence, not conspiracy or speculation. Don't call anyone a narcissist. Remember the goal. Raise awareness, not win arguments. Oh man, this is so awesome.
But that's the way we need to go. Like, there are some people who have particular things that they want to talk about. That's fine, but like in a broader sense, this is such a difficult case to talk about. That's what I was thinking when I wrote this. Like, it's a very complex case, and people do need some pointers.
The case against Richard Allen was built on extremely weak evidence. No DNA, no fingerprints, no forensic or trace evidence of any kind linked to him to the crime scene, victims, or timeline. Allen's alleged confessions were made under extreme psychological duress. He was held in solitary confinement, medicated with antipsychotics, and in a documented state of mental collapse, a perfect storm for false confession. The bullet evidence was not scientifically reliable. The prosecution's case hinged on an unspent bullet, said to match Allen's gun, but the method used is controversial, and even the state's own expert couldn't initially confirm the match. Nice. The judge's conduct during trial was deeply concerning. Judge Gull repeatedly favored the prosecution, blocked key defense arguments, and imposed the harshest possible sentence without acknowledging the flaws in the case. Many respected legal minds, including leading appellate attorneys in Indiana, believe this may be a wrongful conviction. Allen's appeal preparation is underway, and more facts continue to come to light. Justice demands a fair, transparent review. You know what? I think we should get some names in there. Many respected legal minds, and I think we could probably get a bunch of lawyers to put their name to that.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I gotta bounce, but thank you both for
yeah, sure. Thanks,
hosting a
Kat.
wonderful chat, and this is awesome, Luke.
This is so great, Luke.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you,
Kat. Here. On the evidence, there was no forensic evidence. The bullet was not independently verified. Voice identification on the recording was done by a police officer, not a forensic expert. Man. Do's and don'ts. Use verifiable facts from trial documents or public recordings. Do say, I don't know when appropriate, then refer them to the site. Do focus on fairness, transparency, and due process. Don't get sidetracked arguing internet theories. Don't make personal attacks on victims' families or jurors. Or anyone.
I mean, it's up to you.
Well, you can if you want, but it doesn't help. Who was Rick Allen? This is so good. Oh,
that page was very hard to write. That was like it was really it was an honor to write it, but it's really difficult because he's such a normal guy. He's just a guy, you know. It's hard to tell a story. He's just a normal guy. He liked fish, and he liked walking, and he liked his family, and he still likes them.
Yeah. No. Wow. Look at the kitty cat. Oh. He didn't look anything like that sketch. No.
That's his neighbor saying that. I think there's a couple of neighbors of his quit in there, and someone who saw him at McDonald's, and it's that kind of stuff that you use to humanize somebody, and that's an important part of this.
There's so much more to this than I thought. Like when you said there was more to it today, I was like, okay, and then, wow, there is so much more. News and updates. Okay, so you've got like a blog in here. Call for Delphi whistleblowers. The Rick Allen Justice Campaign is committed to exposing the truth behind the 2017 Delphi murders and ensuring justice for Abigail Williams, Liberty German, and Richard Allen, whose conviction many believe was wrongful. After a trial marked by serious irregularities, we're renewing our call for transparency by inviting whistleblowers to come forward. Yes. Wow. This is fantastic, Luke. Give it up for Luke, everyone. We should have been talking about this right from the beginning.
Yeah, it was difficult though. It was difficult. It's not just difficult in terms of how you plan and write content. It's everything's just been up in the air with process, and it was only like a week ago or 10 days ago where I said, we need to rip out this website and replace it because I wasn't okay. For a while, there was hope that Cara and Michael were going to be able to continue this process and do an amazing job. When it became clear that wasn't going to happen, I just said, "Fuck this! We'll do it ourselves." And I know others have plans. I won't speak for them, but there's, we can still do things without having that direct legal line. But it wouldn't have been possible to do much with the website until now, I don't think.
Okay. I just need to say something. If anyone decides to go on the attack against Luke or anybody from this moment onwards, because of personal reasons or because of conflicts or just stupid stuff that we've been talking about that's happened in the past, go to this fucking website, look at it, actually read it, and take some of these things on board, yeah, and think about how we can share this information and use it, because it's important that we get more people on board, right? This is what we need. This is what we've needed all along. I'm so impressed. Like, this is exactly what I've had in mind that we've needed. Right?
I know. I've been listening.
Yeah. This is exactly what we've needed, right? Thank you. And it's not even about so much like fundraising or anything like that. It's about awareness and a unified voice, so people can look at something and go, oh, that's what they're talking about. That's why they think he's innocent. That's what went wrong. Right.
There's a monster.
Now I get it.
There's a troublemaker in your chat.
There's a troublemaker.
habeas monster.
Hey, Michael, how are you? That'll have to do with the habeas monster. Yeah, Michael, how are you, mate? Michael, what do you think? Isn't this fantastic? What a gift from Luke. This is fantastic, right? It would be just such a shame now for any of us to be focusing on any of this crap that's happened up until now and not just supporting this website and spruiking it and like sharing the crap out of it. We need to share the crap out of this. Yes?
Thank you, Helen.
It's amazing.
It's a focal point. That's all it is, and I'm here to serve. That's it.
We needed it. We needed this so badly. Everyone needs to get this website and the hashtags and put it into their like copy and paste, have it ready to share in their Twitter feeds. Creators, put it into your regular links for your mods. Everyone needs to have this ready to go. I'm sure, like, you had it already because it was ready back when the trial ended. Now it's time to really get it out there and go. For more information about Rick Allen or Free Rick Allen, how can you join the movement? Go to rickallenjustice.com.
Yes.
Want to find out about news and updates about the Rick Allen Justice movement? Go to rickallenjustice.com/news and updates. Want to find out about what went wrong or more about Rick Allen? Who is he? Go to rickallenjustice.com. Who is Rick Allen? Right? Make up a list of them. There's so much. What went wrong on the Rick Allen trial? Evidence and flaws and wrongful conviction. Share that.
If you scroll down, there's a list of the 9 pieces of evidence, and if you can go into each one,
yes,
and see the arguments that were used, which is good for if you're having a conversation or if you just want to know.
Fantastic. Wow. All right. Great work.
I have to go in a minute.
Yeah, that's right. We're finishing up. Appreciate you. Appreciate all you've done, and just again, this is a call out to anybody who has any problem with this man or anybody else in the community. Just stop it, right? Like, just look at the work that's just been done. Just put everything in the past and just forget it, okay? Because like, you can see how much this person here really cares about the innocence of Rick Allen and getting him out of prison, and justice for Abby and Libby and Rick. Everything that's happened up till now, it's just got to be put into the past. Like, we all need to get behind this now and get the truth out there. Done.
Yeah.
Well done,
Amen.
Luke.
Justice for Rick.
Free Ricky.
Is not, it's not a pipe dream. We're early in the process. Don't forget.
We are.
Don't forget about him, and just keep talking about it.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Bye,
Thanks for having me.
everybody. Thank you.
See you.
Anytime.
Bye.
All right. See you. Bye. Time for the song, guys.
Her name was Ella. She was a Nazi. She was a fake lawyer from the future. She got on YouTube and made some live streams. Her co-host is Dolly and she dances sometimes. The words are always so loud and because she's an 803. To the attention, excited utterance. Her cat is staring from angles. Listen, we are sensitive.
Hey, by the way, we're going over to criminality. Say hi and hello, Ray. And now we're finishing up.